This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Lavani Vijayatunga. First, we take a look at the headlines. The President emphasizes that there will be no room for separation or extremism in the country. The Gama Samanga Pilisandarak program was held in Giribawa today. An island-wide data electricity supply program commences. Another 448 COVID-19 patients have recovered. And in news overseas, Pope Francis and top Shia cleric Ali al-Sistani discuss plight of Iraq's Christians. Those are the headlines, and now we move on to the details of the local news. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa assures that opportunity will not be allowed for separatism or extremism to raise its head in the country. The necessary measures in this regard have already been taken. He said the government will take the steps to punish the individuals who were responsible for the Easter Sunday terror attacks. He also emphasized that it will be implemented as it is. He made these remarks at the Gama Samanga Pilisandarak program held at the Maduragama area in Giribawa Divisional Secretariat Division. The government's Data Elia initiative to provide electricity to all homes without power supply commenced this morning under the patronage of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. The program commenced as a part of the 13th meeting of the Gama Samanga Pilisandarak program held today at Giribawa Divisional Secretariat of the Kurunegala district. The project aims to provide electricity to low-income families of the Samurdhi list. Ministry of Health says that 448 more patients who had tested positive for COVID-19 were discharged from the medical care today as they have returned to health. This brings the total number of COVID-19 recoveries in the country to 81,769. A total of 84,960 cases of coronavirus have been reported in Sri Lanka so far. As per statistics, 2,698 of them are still receiving treatment at designated hospitals and treatment centers across the country. Sri Lanka's death toll due to the virus stands at 493. This is the news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The Speed Investment Plan from Sri Lanka Insurance. Give a high five to life.
And we continue with more local news. The Trade Minister Bandula Kunawardana says that the government's program of controlling prices of essential goods is being implemented successfully. Many concessions will be provided to the consumers through the Sathosa and cooperative outlets. The price of 27 good items have been reduced from January. In parallel to this program, the supermarkets have also been compelled to reduce the prices of goods. He made these remarks at a media briefing held in Colombo this afternoon. Venerable Alle Kunamansatera says that the government should fulfill its rights and justice to the people who were victimized due to the Easter Sunday tragic. This was not a target only on one religion. The Thera, while participating in a media briefing held in Colombo today, said that this has affected all nations and all religions. The Thera also reiterated that the government should reveal the responsible persons and the attackers. And to conclude the local news, the headlines once again. The President emphasizes that there will be no room for separatism or extremism in the country. Gama Samanga Pilisandarak program was held in Giribawa today. An island-wide Data Elia electricity supply program commences. Another 448 COVID-19 patients have recovered. And that was the local news.
Introducing Speed Investment with Sri Lanka Insurance, the only insurance policy that increases your sum assured by 5% every year for the same premium amount. You also get a bonus payment at maturity. What better plan to have when you can invest now and relax later? The Speed Investment Plan from Sri Lanka Insurance. Give a high five to life. Sri Lanka Insurance. Like a father, like a mother.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Vidya Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vidya Mahatmya.
The main news story for this evening, DH Apparel Factory in Monragala was opened by Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa this morning. The private company has invested 500 million rupees for this factory. 6,000 direct job opportunities will be created. Another 3,000 indirect jobs will also be created. It is expected to earn an export income of 3.5 billion rupees foreign exchange annually. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vidya Mahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
And in Washla this evening, a part of the southern Payagal railway crossing of the Galle-Colombo main road will be closed for 5 hours temporarily due to a repair work. Accordingly, the police said it will be closed from 10 p.m. today to 3 a.m. at dawn tomorrow. The police request the public to use alternative roads to enter the main road. And that came to you in Watch Light.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always. All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Headlines of the world news. Pope Francis and top Shia cleric Ali al-Sistani discuss plight of Iraq's Christians. Japanese Prime Minister vows to help Fukushima evacuees return. US condemns assault on Hong Kong democracy. Those were the headlines, and now we move on to the details of the world news. Pope Francis has discussed the safety of Iraq's Christian minority with one of the Shia Islam's most powerful figures on his landmark trip to the country. Like many communities in Iraq, Christians have always been hit by waves of violence over the years. The office of the Grand Ayatollah Ali al-Sistani, spiritual leader of millions of Shia Muslims, said the talks had emphasized peace. The Ayatollah received his guest at his home in the holy city of Najaf. The Pope on his first international trip since the start of the pandemic, and it is the first ever papal visit to Iraq. Japanese Prime Minister Suga Yoshihide has visited Fukushima Prefecture and pledged that every resident forced to evacuate by the 2011 nuclear accident will eventually be able to return. Suga visited the town of Yokohama today and in the lead up to the 10th anniversary of the March 11th disaster. Yokohama was one of the 2 towns where the damaged Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant is located. Suga inspected the new commercial building that will open this spring in Ogawara district, where the government evacuation order was lifted 2 years ago. The United States has condemned China's continuing assault on democratic institutions in Hong Kong after Beijing announced plans to change the electoral system there. China's National People's Congress unveiled the plans yesterday. One proposal would be requiring all candidates standing for Hong Kong's assembly to be approved by the committee of members of loyal to Beijing. The move follows the imposition of a tough security law last year. Critics say Beijing is crushing dissent and removing one country two system agreement it made with the UK. And to conclude the world news, the headlines once again. Pope Francis and top Shia cleric Ali al-Sistani discuss plight of Iraq's Christians. Japanese Prime Minister vows to help Fukushima evacuees return. US condemns assault on Hong Kong democracy. And that was the world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always. All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Development News is brought to you by Nivea along with CIB from 1st to 15th March. Valuable gifts for every bill payment. Our products, our place. CIB.
And in development news, Windforce Limited, the pioneers in the growth and supply of renewable energy in Sri Lanka, has announced an initial public offering that aims to raise 3.24 billion rupees to fund its strategic expansion and growth in the renewable sector energy. Windforce plans to allocate a sum of 2.31 billion rupees as the equity investment for wind power project in Mannar and a solar power project in Senegal. Remaining fund of 932 million rupees will be utilized for future projects. And that came to you in the segment of development news.
Development News was brought to you by Nivea along with CIB from 1st to 15th March. Valuable gifts for every bill payment. Our products, our place. CIB.
Moving on to sports news, the Indian team won the fourth test match played against the visiting England team today by an innings. England scored 135 runs in their second innings, and India were all out for 365 runs in their first innings. England scored 205 runs in their first innings as well. The match was played at Ahmedabad. That was the sports news. Business news coming up.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
And in business news, treasury bills worth over 45 billion rupees will be issued, the central bank says, and the relevant auction will be held on Tuesday. The payment should be made before the 12th of this month. Biddings are called from the primary dealers on government securities. People could purchase the treasury bills from the primary dealers or the licensed commercial banks. That was the business news, and economic news follows.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic News, courtesy of...
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy.
Calm down. Everything is sorted. Why? I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge.
LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
And in economic news, the global demand for sanitary devices, including rubber gloves, has greatly increased because of COVID-19 pandemic, and therefore the need to manufacture rubber locally to cater the demand has been identified. A coordinating committee was formed comprising planters and industrialists to encourage the local rubber industry in a joint endeavor of the state and private sector institutions. That was economic news, and the weather report to conclude.
Congratulations on your promotion. Heard you gave a treat for everyone in your department yesterday.
Yeah.
When will be our treat, huh?
Well, how about today?
Oh no, I was just joking. We'll have a party with your new salary.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Those who spread goodness radiate happiness to everyone around them. Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
And finally, the weather report. The Met Department says showers or thunder showers will occur at several places over most parts of the island after 1 p.m. Fairly heavy falls above 75 millimeters can be expected at some places in the central, Sabaragamuwa, southern and western provinces and in the Polonnaruwa district. Several spells of showers will occur in the eastern and Nuwa provinces in the morning hours too. And before we conclude this bulletin of news, let's get back to the headlines once again. The president emphasizes that there will be no room for separatism or extremism in the country. Gaba Samagapili Sandarak program was held in Giribawa today. An island-wide That Elia electricity supply program commences. Another 448 COVID-19 patients have recovered. And in news overseas, Pope Francis and top Shia cleric Ali al-Sistani discuss plight of Iraq's Christians. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news. And now it's back to your Saturday evening host and my good friend Asanka to keep you entertained.